Welcome back to Jost on Unboxing. Cristobal Lorente of Spain, 29 years of age, undefeated in 23 fights with 3 draws. He retains his EBU title. This is the featherweight division with a split draw over Nathaniel Collins. In fact, this is Lorente's second retain of the title via a split draw, because in July of this year, he drew with Ruben Gill, who was undefeated in 8 fights. And Nathaniel Collins was also undefeated in 17. This was the third defence of the title. 2 of them, like I say, have been draws. But he won the title 15, 16, 17 months ago against Mauro Forte. That was over in Tirana in Albania. Then he went to Italy and beat Francisco Grandelli on a unanimous decision, defended it for the first time there. Then he had the fight against Gill in Spain, which was, like I say, a split draw. Now he's got a split draw against Nathaniel Collins in Glasgow. Collins is from Scotland. No, he's not. Was he from Scotland? Yeah, of course. No, he's from... he's from Scotland. Of course he is. What am I talking about? Yeah, it was in Glasgow, and he's I don't think he's from Glasgow, though, but he is Scottish. Okay, so you're talking about a guy in Lorente who travels. I mean, four EBU title. He won the title and he made 3 defences. 4 different countries he's been in. Only one of them was in his home country of Spain. And he's a very capable fighter, clearly. He knows how to travel. He knows how to win, or at least get a draw and retain the title. He's only got 8 KOs in 20 wins. Whereas Nathaniel Collins, 29 years old, also, southpaw, 17 wins with 8 KOs. So again, not a massive banger. 1 draw, which was tonight, no defeats. But I think, first of all, this was a very good fight. This was a entertaining fight. And we'll come to the 6th round in a moment, because that was an incredible round. I thought I had this 115, 113 for Collins, which agreed with one of the judges. The other judge, one of the other judges had it 115, 113 for Lorente, and then a third judge had it 114, 114. But to start with, Collins looked like he was, he's a southpaw. He was coming out there and he was on a mission. You could tell he had that urgency about him. Whereas Lorente looked at the start, first couple 2-3 rounds, looked more intent on, I'm going to box in the early rounds, box. I'm going to, conserve some energy. That's not to say that he wasn't throwing punches. He was. But there was, again, that urgency about Collins, that motivation was clearly there. He was in his home country. This was his chance to win an EBU belt, and he wasn't going to let it pass him by. Okay, so I gave him, I think after about 4 rounds, I think I might have had him 3-1 up, something like that. Then in the 5th round, I thought there was a slight swinging of the pendulum. Lorente seemed to up the work rate a bit. Again, we're down to urgency. There was a bit more urgency there. And he was able to, I think, but when you consider that Collins had set a fast pace, that the thought crossed my mind, well, maybe the fact that Lorente has held back a bit of energy is going to pay dividends now, because Lorente he was boxing better. He seemed to find his rhythm, but Collins seemed to slow a bit. It was a visible, not a major, but a visible dip, if you know what I mean. And then came the 6th round, and my God, it will be hard to find a better round in boxing than the 6th round of this fight. It was absolute pandemonium, all right? It started off with Collins, who probably because I think he lost the 5th round, he came out with more intent, thinking, I ain't going to let this get away. And again, there was that real desire, that verve about him. And for the first minute and a half, maybe, he really put it on Lorente. And Lorente looked like he was sagging a bit because he was getting hit with too many flush punches. But then, like I say, a minute and a half in, suddenly Lorente starts coming back and they are flailing on each other. Punches are going left, right, both hands, both standing in front of each other, just trying to beat the crap out of each other. And I think Lorente was sort of taken by surprise in that 6th round, which is, the fact that he was shaken and he was being knocked around the ring and almost ragdolled. And then, a switch seemed to flick, and he was like, okay, you want a bit of this? Get a load of this. And he came back with some fantastic salvos that actually pushed Collins back. And suddenly Collins looked a little bit disorientated. Lorente was able to sort of keep it up probably for about a minute. And then in the last 30 seconds, I thought maybe Collins sort of managed to stem the tide a little bit. I gave that round to Collins, but by a whisker. I mean, it was an amazing round, absolutely amazing round. I certainly gave Collins the 7th round, but Lorente's work rate most of the remaining rounds was. He was winning rounds. Now, it wasn't the most scientific of fights. It wasn't the most technical of fights. That's not to say there weren't skills on display, because, like I say, Lorente, when he was finding his rhythm, when he was finding that little gap, that sort of mid-range gap, he was able to land some nice punches, and he was able to punch first. And certainly in the first 4 rounds, I got the impression that definitely Collins was punching first and last, which is probably why I gave him most of the first 4. I think I let him about 3-1 up. But Lorente was really finding it. He was thinking a little bit more than Collins. That's the impression I got. And Collins, because of the fast pace, because it was a real bruising battle, he was forced to take his foot off the gas a bit. He did seem to sort of get a second wind at some point. I can't remember which round. I was thinking, he's coming on a bit here. But by this point, Lorente had found a groove and was landing some very nice punches. There was still a lot of very exciting exchanges, very exciting. They were swapping fists, like, they were going out of fashion. Punches were going out of fashion. And certainly the last round was another barn burner. I mean, so many of these rounds were highly competitive. And I can sort of see a draw, even though I had Nathaniel Collins winning by a couple of points. It's one of those fights, because there was so much action, you'd like to go back and have a look at it again and score it again, maybe. But the obvious solution to this, not controversy, but this dispute, would be for them to run it back. And who would not pay to watch this fight again? It was terrific. 2 guys who are not big bangers. 2 guys who are not blessed with what you would say strikingly world-class skills, but 2 very tough European-level fighters. Very, very tough. Especially Lorente. He shipped some punishment, and then for him to take over in the second half of the fight was quite incredible. But 2 guys who their styles seemed to gel. One was a southpaw, which was Collins, and both great chins. But yeah, it was fantastic. It was that 6th round. Go and have a look. If you don't watch the whole fight, go and have a look at the 6th round, because you won't be disappointed. But a good fight, a very, very, very good fight. Headlined a show in Glasgow that was on DAZN. It was a good show, actually, very good show. And if you got DAZN, the only quibble I have with DAZN is that I wanted to watch the Willie Hutchinson Mark Jeffers fight. That was the first one on, and there was a glitch, a fuck up, with DAZN, and the first 5 rounds I didn't get to see. So I'm going to try and hunt that fight down and do a review of it, because I was looking forward to that one. But I joined it in round 5. Yeah, but this was a barn burner. Go and have a look at it. It's good fight. Anyway, look. If you did see it, what did you think of it? Leave your opinions below. Thank you, as always, for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new. We've got lots of videos coming at you day in, day out. Join us. Join the Joe Stunner party. Why not? Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye for now.